ready for this fight? I've got my eyes on you, buddy. Behave yourself while you're in Air One.
How do you fit into this whole Skeltech design?
I was the head of the civic engineering department. Guess you could say I resigned over creative differences regarding Titan.
So you had something to do with designing the infrastructure here on Aroa?
Sort of. I build on top of what the New Zealand and US military started. Every culture has to do that. Build on top of existing infrastructure. The older the culture, the more infrastructure is already in place, the harder it is to modernize. That's why Europe is such a mess.
Why not just tear it up and start over?
Once you build something, like roads, you don't want to unbuild them. Plus, Skell wanted to keep all the existing structures in place as a way to preserve the island.
That seems like a pain in the ass.
I don't mind a challenge. That's what makes me so good at what I do.
So I guess your roads are gonna be a problem for the next person that comes here to design infrastructure.
I doubt it. By the time my roads need to be reworked, people will be flying around Aroa on jetpacks.
Here you go.
All these drones must use a massive amount of power.
We use more electricity than most third world countries.
So if we pull the plug, we can shut the whole operation down.
There's no plug. The whole island is powered by a diverse, renewable power grid. There are multiple power sources, and no one source powers everything. And all the power sources are renewable. None of them need fuel.
So you built a lethal drone army and gave it unlimited power. No one thought that might be a problem?
Skell insisted our power came from environmentally friendly sources. We have the cleanest power grid on Earth. Also the most expensive. Maybe people like you are the reason Skell had to build his utopia way out here in the middle of nowhere.
How many of these renewable power sources are there?
There's a massive solar panel farm outside Liberty and wind turbines on the west coast. There are also 2 oceanic geothermal plants in the channels between the islands. Those are powered by cold water from Antarctica and warm water from the Pacific.
There must be some kind of battery where they store all the excess power.
Just north of Liberty, there's a dam. Inside are flywheel capacitors. That's where the energy is stored.
Sounds like you built this power grid to be rock solid. I guess it's gonna be impossible to turn the lights off.
Sorry, I built this place to last.
That's the scary thing about this World 2.0 you built. It can't be rebooted. All these drones must use a massive amount of power.
We use more
So if we pull the...
There's no plug.
So you built a lethal...
Skell insists maybe people...
How many of these...
There's a massive
There must be some...
just north.
Why couldn't we just destroy the power grid? There's no way to disrupt the swarms by just smashing the electric box?
This power grid is a model for a sustainable future, and all you want to do is destroy it? Besides, you can't knock it out. It's designed to have backups for backups. Even if all that fails, we have energy stored in the flywheel capacitors. The lights are never going off on Aroa.
That's the scary thing about this World 2.0 you built. It can't be rebooted. Why couldn't we just destroy the power grid? There's no way to disrupt the swarms by just smashing the electric box?
This power grid is a model for a sustainable future, and all you want to do is destroy it? Besides, you can't knock it out. It's designed to have backups for backups. Even if all that fails, we have energy stored in the flywheel capacitors. The lights are never going off on Aroa.
That's the scary thing about this World 2.0 you built. It can't be rebooted. What kind of air traffic do you get on the island?
Before the perimeter of drones made leaving the island impossible, the only people flying in or out were investors or vacationers. To be honest, we've never had much air traffic. Why do you ask?
I saw an airport earlier. We might be able to land a bird in there.
To evacuate people?
Or explore. I'm just spitballing here.
The Aroa airport near Infinity has the big runway. That's where all the international flights come in.
Any smaller airstrips? Somewhere that can land helos.
Try Liberty Airport. We use it for internal jumper flights. If you're snooping around there, just be careful. Sentinel uses both of them, so they're crawling with security.
What's with the fancy net there on Erewhon's crater?
Well, it's hardly a net, but yes, it is fancy. It's bleeding-edge, multi-layered camouflage equipment that blocks visibility with surrounding environmental patterns. More importantly, it fools the drones. It's how I keep Erewhon hidden and virtually impossible to find.
So it works the way a chameleon would, blending into the background.
A little more advanced, but yes. The fabric uses a signature management system that disrupts thermal patterns, infrared wavelengths, and radio emissions so drones can't run their recognition algorithms. It won't fool the human eye. I mean, if somebody was looking at a drone feed, they might notice something weird, but...
Nobody can check thousands of hours of video feed on Aroa.
Right. It makes hiding things from drones pretty easy. They can't respond to what they don't see. It was developed by Skeltech. Luckily, I just so happen to know how to hijack it. Now Erewhon can remain safe for at least a little while.
I like your style, Jericho. I'll see you around.
Sure. I'll be seeing you.
Drones. Drones? They're gonna put this thing on drones?
I know. The ghosts are doing everything they can to stop it.
And what were we? What were our lives? Part of a test run?
Looks like that's all we are to these bastards.
How do you fit into this whole Skeltech design?
I was the head of the civic engine.
So you had something to...
Sorta. I don't. So I doubt it.
I'll see you around.
By
Sure.
the time my
I'll be
roads need to
seeing
be
ya.
reworked,
No. My life will not be a test run for genocide. I'm gonna demand Schultz calls a meeting the second that cure is in our veins. We need to discuss how to make Sentinel hurt for the pain they've caused.
Right there with you, brother. We'll make them pay tenfold.
You ever see yourself doing this?
My weapons aren't gonna cut it as is.
What's wrong with them?
They're old, worn out. I need to keep pace with our enemies.
Well, you can always upgrade your weapon to a higher quality mark. All you need are the right weapon parts. We have to build everything for ourselves out here. We got people that could fabricate you just about anything.
Self-reliant. I like it.
You know, you could find parts and materials by dismantling other weapons. They're chock full of stuff.
Well, I'll have to see what I can find then.
You ever think we'd end up here?
Here you go. No, I agree. It doesn't need to hit. I'm just saying it's too risky. It's cold like this. You know, Probably go through that one and sure.